What is going on, mortals? Mortopia here! And today, the Phoenix Dossier has been officially released. We can now take a look at it and everything. But first, mortals, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to click that big red subscribe button on my channel to keep up to date with the news and everything else that I do. But anyway, I just want to get straight into this because this is exciting. It's just exciting, and some other stuff we'll get to it. So, Community Crunch 101 was released on survivetheark.com, where this was announced. So, boom! As you can see there, Phoenix looking really cool. And then we get the actual dossier, the proper big dossier with the normal picture and everything else. And down here we got some images. These used to represent what the Phoenix can be used for, and so on and so forth. So it's got a fire emblem, so it can either like breathe fire or set things alight. It's got a collar, which means it is tameable. Then we got this egg. Now I can only believe that this means it's breedable, but I'm not quite sure if it is. I don't know what to make of their egg symbol. I honestly don't, because Phoenix don't usually come from eggs; they come from ashes. But anyway, let's just get into all the information. So it literally says common name the Phoenix, species unknown, time unknown, diet fire eater. Whatever that means. But anyway, we got the information about when it's wild and when it's domesticated. So I'm going to read some of this, well, mostly all of it. I'm just going to make a conclusion. So, amongst the most mysterious of all the fire creatures, much of what is known about the Phoenix exists in legend, which has been told over generations. These myths has often changed through the passing of time. One consistent belief that fire represents cleansing and renewal. The Phoenix embodies this process through its everlasting cycle of death and renewal, which is really true. That it's what it says is a Phoenix is born through the ashes, and then it grows up, and when it dies it returns back to ashes, and then it's reborn again. There's no eggs included. So this, we're going to move on to what it says, something about Scorched Earth, which is where it's going to be in. That's the only map that it's going to be able to spawn, and you're going to be able to tame it. You should be able, once you've tamed it, you should be able to put it over to other maps as you see fit. But it says, extreme heat in the desert seems to initiate the rise of the Phoenix. So that means when like superheat on Scorched, if you ever played Scorched Earth, you know it has some weather effects where superheat exists, and it's like extremely excruciating hot, where it can kill you pretty darn quick. So it looks like they are rolling it around the extreme heat weather effect on the Scorched Earth. Really cool to see. At the end of the so-called superheat, it basically says the Phoenix will go back into ashes. Now this represents a problem and some of the game mechanic that they have thought about. So I'm going to quickly try and cover this. So at the beginning of the superheat weather effect, the Phoenix will rise up. So that's when the Phoenix will spawn into the game, I think. But then it also says at the end of the so-called superheat, the Phoenix will return back to ashes. Now, I don't know what this could possibly mean. Does that mean that the Phoenix will only spawn during a superheat event? Will it only be tameable during a superheat event? And then it says at the end of the superheat that the Phoenix will return back to ashes. Now, can you go to these so-called ashes, find the Phoenix, pick it up, or tame it when it's a baby or so? Or can you not interact with the ashes at all? We're not too sure, but that sort of gives some idea of what they're thinking about the game mechanic to do with the Phoenix and how it's tamed and so on and so forth. It goes on to say that the Phoenix is not really bothered by any wildlife, but if it is provoked, yeah, it will burn you by a single bite. Literally, it'll bite something and it'll set it on light, because that's what a Phoenix is. It's a firebird. It has the ability to control the fire element, which is really, really cool. So that gives us some insight of what they're thinking about the Phoenix, but it doesn't give us any definite thing about how to tame it. So, domesticated. Attempting to pacify a Phoenix is quite literally playing with fire. The Phoenix has to be continually set ablaze in order to be tamed. Okay. I've seen it turn into dust and ash in the attempt so many times, basically. So that's another little hint. As after it has been pacified, the Phoenix will retain its vitality when it is set aflame. Although its compact size prevents the Phoenix from being rideable or ridden, or whatever, its aggressive flaming and flames provides a vulnerable in battle. So that means it's just really good in battle. It's basically OP in battle. Plus it can quickly roast up tasty cooked meat and refine raw ores at any time as a living furnace. So this domesticated bit does give us quite a bit of information if you tend to look into it. So, how to tame it is give us some kind of hint right here. The Phoenix must be continually set ablaze in order to be tamed. So on Scorched Earth, there is fire arrows that you can make, which you can shoot from a bow. You're setting it alight. But also they did add a feature where if you had a torch and you hit a creature with it, the creature would set alight as well. And also on Scorched Earth you get the flamethrower. So there's 3 different ways that you could set a creature alight. So is this the way that the Phoenix is going to be tamed? It's not going to be any type of food or kibble, or it's not even going to be a passive tame. It's going to be, I think it's going to be an aggressive tame, because you're going to shoot it, and when it is provoked, it's going to come after you and it's going to set you alight. But it does say that it has seen it being turned to dust and ashes in the attempt of taming. So does this mean you can over tame it? Does this mean it can only be tamed when it's in its full Phoenix form and not when it's in the ashes? Who's to say? But that the dust and ashes attempt seems to coincide with the Phoenix at the end of the superheat turning into ashes. So does this mean that you cannot tame it when it is a baby and in its like ashes form? Don't know. But it seems a taming feature is you have to set it ablaze in order to tame it. So that means fire arrows, flamethrower, and even the torch. But trying to get close with a torch or even a flamethrower, poof, good luck. So it also says after being pacified, the Phoenix will regain its vitality when it is aflame. So that means you have to set it alight anyway? I'm not too sure what to think of that. So basically, if it has a health damage and it's trying to recover a lot of health, does that mean if you set it alight, it will regain health quicker? Something to think about. And it does say, although this compact size for the Phoenix, it's not rideable. Well, that's a letdown. That's a huge, huge letdown, because everyone was hoping that it would be rideable. Now, I have got some more information on that, so don't just be down in the dumps quite yet. Now, the other cool feature is that plus it can quickly roast up tasty cooked meat. So I don't know if you put the meat in its inventory, it will naturally just cook the meat over time. That's the only way I can think that it would, unless you set a creature alight, and when you harvest that creature, when it is dead, it will only give you cooked meat. Not too sure. And refine raw ores at any time like a living furnace. Refine ores. What else do you refine apart from metal and oil and stuff like that? Does that mean you're going to be able to put raw metal in its inventory and it will turn it into metal ingots? So it'll be a portable industrial furnace. That would be pretty cool if the Phoenix has a lot of weight, which in the myths it's able to carry immensely heavy loads. That's in the myths. I don't know if they are keeping to it. But it's got oil. If you combine it with hide, it turns into the oil that you can put in generators and stuff. Gasoline, sorry. What other ores do you really refine in Ark? Metal, oil. You don't really refine silica pearls or obsidian or anything like that. So I don't know what else you could possibly use for that. But don't get me wrong, it's a really cool feature that is true, because refining metal on the go, pretty cool. But if it's not rideable, does that mean it's going to be a shoulder mount, or is it just going to have to follow you around? This is one of the big questions I would like answered. But anyway, getting on to it's not being able to ride. You can't ride it. Well, Jeremy Stieglitz did tweet this out, thinking about making the Phoenix rideable. It's a fun bird, but maybe even better that way. We'll meditate on this important question tonight, which he put out on the 19th. So there is hope in the future that he's thinking about making the Phoenix rideable, which means that he might make the Phoenix a tiny bit bigger, so a player will be able to ride it. Now, I did put a little comment reply down to here. I said, the Phoenix should be rideable. Yes, the Phoenix is a fire bird, but it is not made of fire. It has the ability to control it, which is very, very true. The Phoenix is made up of feathers. It's like any other bird. It's made up of feathers, but it has the ability to control the fire within. So that means dumbing it down so it doesn't burn you when you touch it, or going absolutely supernova and just burning everything it touches. That's how I think of the Phoenix. But anyway, this gives us some kind of hope that it will be changed so the Phoenix is rideable. I would definitely love to see the Phoenix rideable. It would make so much more sense if the Phoenix was rideable. So when you did go on a metal run and you harvest metal, you could ride it there, put it into its inventory, and on the ride back to your base, the metal will mostly be refined already, so you don't have to wait a really long period of time for the metal to be refined. And because it doesn't say it's a shoulder mount or nothing, it doesn't mean that means that it can't be mounted on your shoulder, that it's not a shoulder mount like other birds and creatures can go on your shoulders. Because that still presents a problem if they think of the Phoenix as made of fire. If it's made of fire, you can't put it on your shoulder because it's going to burn you no matter what. But if they go the way I think about the Phoenix, where it controls the ability of fire, it can be a shoulder mount, but also it can also be rideable. But anyway, we can only hope that he thinks long and hard and he comes to the same conclusion that everybody wants, that the Phoenix should be rideable. Jeremy, get your thinking cap on. The Phoenix should be rideable, so make it so. Okay? We're all counting on you. But anyway, we got any more information about the Phoenix? Well, not really. So I am over at the Arc Gamepedia, and they've updated everything on it. They've updated the dossier with a picture and everything now, looking really cool. They've updated the name, the bird, the species, and whatever. It's not yet been released on any platforms, but it is being released to Scorched Earth. For some reason, there is a spawn command from it, but I don't think that's a real. I think that one might just be a default command. And it does say right here, domesticate. It is tameable, not rideable, not breedable. So I don't know where the egg thing comes into it. Then it's just got the same information I've just read out to you about the dossier. When we go further down, it usually provides you like its favourite kibble or its favourite food or the way that you can tame it. But there's nothing about it whatsoever. I think they're still working on some of the information. So all it says, when you kill it, it drops only raw meat. Don't know. Then it's just got question marks after question marks. Even the speed and movement speed is question marks. General strategy, weaponry, dangers, weaknesses. There's nothing here about the combat section of it. The taming, it's got nothing about it. It's got absolutely nothing about the taming. KO strategy, no information. Utilities, roles, collectibles, nothing. There's absolutely no information about the Phoenix and how to tame it and what its weaknesses is and what it can be used for and all this kind of stuff. They really need to update all this stuff so we can get a good idea. Now, the Phoenix was found in the Devil Kit a long time before it was officially revealed as an upcoming creature. There was a model, but there was also a Phoenix saddle found in the Dev Kit as well, which implied that the Phoenix was going to be rideable. But somewhere along the way, they changed their mind, saying it wasn't going to be rideable. Now, hopefully, Jeremy will change his mind yet again and make the Phoenix rideable. Please, please, please make the Phoenix rideable. We need a good flying mount. We really, really do. Because after they have nerfed the hell out of all the flyers, we really need a good flying mount. We really, really do. So everyone just keep your fingers crossed. Pray to the Ark gods and hope that it will become rideable. But anyway, mortals, that is all the information about the Phoenix. I hope you found it somewhat informative. I hope you're really excited for it, because I'm still excited for it. I still love to see it in game, but I can only hope that they do make it rideable. I really, really do hope they'd make it rideable. But anyway, mortals, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, don't forget to show that like button, who is boss, by punching it in the face. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button. And as always, mortals, don't forget to share it with your family and your friends and around the world. But that's it. I, Mortal T, and I am out.